It's Andy Coppens, it's Talking Badgers, coming to you with reaction from Wisconsin's 45-17 victory over the Indiana Hoosiers. That's right, I said 45-17. Normally, you would say that's a dominating victory, yet didn't really happen in as dominating a fashion as you would think. But more on that in a bit, because I've got a question for you. Are the Badgers a very good team, an elite team, or an average team that is able to get by against inferior opponents? I'm going to proposition the answer of them being a very good team, even though they gave up a 10-0 lead to start the game and were down 10-0 midway through the second quarter. Obviously, they started very slow, but the fourth quarter tells the tale of just how good the Badgers can be. And ultimately, I think this is where fans get frustrated because they see them play this way in the fourth quarter and don't play well in the first. And what am I talking about? Well, they had the ball for nearly 11 minutes of the final stanza, and it took them just 19 plays to score 21 points. 3 touchdowns on 19 plays. That's super efficient football, and you have to wonder kind of where some of that is to start the game. But here's the deal. The Badgers simply aren't built to be a team that gets off to fast starts. Really not who they are or should be. Because if you're relying on a dominant run game, if you're relying on a game manager at quarterback and stellar defense, the path forward is building from the first to the fourth quarter so that in the fourth quarter you can control the game. Ultimately, that's what the Badgers did. Sure, they went down 10-0. Part of that was due to some inopportune moments on the offensive side of the ball and the defense just having their backs against the wall, so to speak. But at the same point in time, that offense, and mainly having Jonathan Taylor back, made a massive difference in this contest. 180-plus yards and a touchdown for Taylor. Alex Hornibrook, a semi-efficient day, but he actually looked good at times. He made some great throws. In fact, one to Kendrick Pryor that ended up with Jonathan Taylor scooting out the other side on the very next play for a touchdown. He also had a great throw to Quintez Cephas in the end zone. Before my second takeaway, are the Badgers in trouble on the pass game? And what do I mean by that? Well, Quintez Cephas went down a little bit further into the game after his touchdown catch as he was doing some blocking downfield and got rolled up upon by one of his own offensive linemen. It was a brutal look for him on the bench, just in excruciating pain. He ended up, according to reports, in a wheelchair, congratulating the team as they were coming off the field. No official word as to how serious that injury is. It is a right leg injury. It's below the knee. My guess is it's probably a pretty severe ankle injury. And let's just send our thoughts and prayers to Quintez, especially for a speedy recovery if you're the Badgers, because he's your best pass option. That's right, Quintez Cephas has become Wisconsin's go-to wide receiver this season, and without him, they're in trouble. With that being said, what's my third takeaway? Well, my third takeaway is trust your defense. And if style points matter, I have to ask the College Football Playoff Committee one question. That question, don't defensive style points matter too? Because the Wisconsin Badgers defense played a brilliant game. They gave up just 40, yes, I said 40 yards on the ground. Now, sure, some of it was from the fact that they got after Richard Lago a lot in this game, and they played behind the line of scrimmage quite a bit. But that's part of dominating an opponent and being a really good football team. And Wisconsin did that. They only allowed 7 points from the midway point of the second quarter on. Now, sure, it was 24-17 as the fourth quarter started, but the Badgers immediately started to put the clamps down. And defensively, Indiana really, outside of a few big plays here and there, had nothing for the Wisconsin Badgers. That high-powered offense comes away with just 266 total yards. That's a win, and a big win for the Wisconsin Badger defense. So if you're the College Football Playoff Committee and style points matter to you, I'd ask that defensive style points matter just as much as that big-ass total on the scoreboard for schools like Alabama playing, I don't know, West Texas A&M or some podunk school and beating up on them 66-7. Wisconsin played a real offense, a real good offense, and limited them to 266 yards, 17 points, and just 40 yards rushing. We'll see if it ultimately matters, and at the end of the day, here's the deal. The Wisconsin Badgers go to 9-0, and that's all that really matters. That's all that they can control, and if they keep that other side of the ledger to a 0, at the end of the day and at the end of the year, they should be right where they want to be. Make sure you subscribe. We're going to have a brand new show debuting. That's right, folks. The Motion W Show returns. It used to be the Motion W podcast. It's going to be the Motion W Show. That's going to make a return here. We're going to be talking Badger football and basketball and hockey and some all points in between going forward. My hope is to entertain you all with some thoughts on the Badgers and, of course, bring you some really good interviews as we can get them. With that being said, please subscribe below, pass it on to your friends, and as always, on Wisconsin.